Hi, welcome to this video. So we're going to do another 3-pile pick. So the piles are already set out, and today I'm choosing a different oracle card. So yesterday it was all about the whispers of love. Today it's more angelic, and there's a reason for that. Today has been really sunny. It's been a lovely day where I am. Nice sunshine, which we haven't really had much of lately, so that's been really nice. But it kind of reminded me of a day where, and I had this song playing in my head all day. It reminded me of a day when I was a child, and I'd wagged a day off school. I took a day off, and my mum and dad used to have a record player, so an LP player. So I used to play songs and things if I wasn't at school, and I'd just sort of chill out at home until everybody got home. And this one day it was like really sunny, like today had been. There was sun coming through the windows and it just felt really peaceful in the space. And the song I chose to play was China in My Hand by T'Pau. I don't know if you know that song, but I'm not going to sing it to you, but you can go ahead and look that up. But it's a very peaceful song, and it kind of made me think about how it was a lovely sunny day. It's really nice, and what happened that day really strangely. So I took a bit of time away from school because I struggled with school, with being around people and just in general, that kind of interaction. Didn't have a great time there, so being in that space, listening to music and just being on my own, I really enjoyed it. Well, there was a knock at the door, and when I answered the door, it was 2 Jehovah's Witnesses, and I didn't really know what to do. I was only a teenager, so I didn't really, but I let them read a passage to me, and the passage was all about angels, and it was really quite nice. When they were talking, the sun just seemed to shine down, and it gave me a feeling that I hadn't really felt before, and I kind of, like, in that point in my life, felt held and protected in that moment, which was really nice. So it's making me feel a bit emotional. And a bit after I'd shut the door, and there was a bit of a breeze, so this was more sort of like springtime rather than winter like we've got now. And there was a white feather that had blown around as well, which sort of like, it just seemed like all the signs and things were coming out. And from that day, it was like a turning point in my life. Something actually did change pretty much that evening, through my brother bringing a friend home, and me and that girl actually connected and made a friendship. So things sort of can change just like that in your life. And I felt called to do this 3-card pile pick today. 3-pile pick that's all to do with those angel messages. I know I don't work with angel energy very often, but now and then it does call to me, and it seems to have called to me today to deliver this message to you. So on the picture, just have a look at whether you choose 1, 2 or 3, and then let me know. So pile 1 is with the rune Bacano. So that, if you're choosing pile 1, that is pile 1. Pile 2 is with the rune Rado. So don't look these up before you pick your pile. Just pick your pile based on whether the rune resonates with you or not. And this one is Uruz. So pick your pile, and then you can have a look in the description, which will give you your timestamps for when that pile is starting. So let's begin. I'm going to move those 2 out the way, and we're going to start with pile number 1. So pile number 1, first of all, this energy is just beautiful. There is definitely a new beginning on the horizon for you, but it's not just like a new beginning. This is down to a lot of work that you've done on yourself. It's down to all of the things that you have been working towards. Bacano, it can represent, it's very nurturing. So this sometimes comes out if you are perhaps looking after a loved one, maybe looking after your mum. It has kind of that pull between child and mother. It may be that you are newly pregnant, nurturing a baby, perhaps you have a young baby. So if you pick that rune and that resonates with you, then this possibly might be why. So I'm going to pick out, first of all, your minor arcana. So your minor arcana is very watery. Can you see that? So you've got the Ace of Cups and the Five of Cups. So there's almost like this toss up between feeling quite emotional and that emotion actually bringing you down, making you feel a little bit overwhelmed, perhaps a little bit bored, a little bit like everything is not really, it's like despondence almost, like things aren't going the way that you want them to go, or maybe not moving as quickly as you want them to. So again, with Bacano, I'd say perhaps you're a new mom. Maybe you've just had a child and perhaps your life is very different to how it was. Then there may be an element of needing a bit of support there, needing a little bit of care. But with Bacano as well, and with the Ace of Cups, this is a new beginning, this is a new start. There is definitely a turning point for you from what I was saying before, that little story I was telling at the beginning. This isn't how you're going to stay. This is just a temporary feeling right now. And maybe you need to spend some time going deep within, asking yourself, what is that truth? What is it that I'm feeling? Why do I feel like this when I've got these things going on around me that are actually really quite nurturing, quite loving, but I'm not really feeling it. I'm not feeling that love. So let's have a look and see what that might be. Okay, so your major arcana, we have the Magician. Now, the Magician is a great one, and sometimes this comes out where there's perhaps an element of that a masculine energy around you. Perhaps you feel like you're not, what's the word? See, this feeling here, I feel like it comes from somebody overpowering you, or somebody making you feel, well, you're making yourself feel like this, but there's a feeling of powerlessness, of something's got a hold over you, something's got a power over you, and it could be coming from that masculine energy. So this is about trying to not allow yourself to go down into that spiral. We want to stay in the energy really of the Ace of Cups, so that we're allowing that emotion to flow. Don't hold on to it, don't hide it, and don't assume as well what's going on around you. So if you feel there's trickery going on, or someone's not being honest with you, you need to open that communication. You need to let that flow come out. Yeah, it's all part of this way of being with you. So again, with Bacano, you've been working on yourself for so long, so this could be a test right now to see just how much you have alchemized, how much of what you have been doing is actually really strengthening that connection with yourself, that trusting within yourself, that nurturing within yourself, because it feels like there's quite a lot of you've got a lot on, like a lot of overwhelming energy going on here that's kind of making you feel very emotional. But just bearing in mind that, you know, and this could be to do with actually a new relationship as well. That, yeah, I'd say it's literally come from January. This has started around January time, and maybe you're feeling a little bit unsure about this. Perhaps it's highlighted parts of you where you're feeling like, oh, I don't know if I've got time for this. I don't know if I've got. So you need to open that communication about how you're feeling, how overwhelmed you may be. So those are your tarot cards. Now let's see what we've got on here. Okay, now this is interesting. We've got your Chakra Oracle card is Perception. Now perception, I feel like your perception of what's going on here is maybe what you are creating yourself in your mind. Maybe this person isn't hiding things from you. Maybe this person is actually trying their best to help you, to support you, to be what you need. So this is working with the heart center. Can you see the green border around that? So drop into a space of maybe forgiveness, forgive yourself. Try not to overlap past experiences into your present situation. And you can see here there are butterflies showing that transformation, birds as well. So there's freedom here. You are free to bring yourself out of the doldrums, bring yourself out of this place, because that's where you've been before, but it's not where you really want to be, is it? It's not where you want to stay. So we've got to try and work with bringing you back out of there. And as you can see, it's sort of like, okay, so there's some cups that have fallen over, but there's 2 cups that are still there. It's all about your perception. What do you see? And again, with the magician, it's sort of like, can you see the potential here? Can you see that perhaps it's yourself that is creating or self-sabotaging in this area? So nurture yourself, bring yourself back into balance, into a space of really acknowledging your needs and your truth. Okay, so we're going to have a look at your angel message now and see what this message is for you today. Self-acceptance. So your message today is all about self-acceptance. Do you accept yourself? Do you have the ability to say, yeah, I am good enough as I am? So it's going to bring you out of this place. Yeah, it doesn't need to be here. You don't need to be here anymore. And you've got opportunities around you to bring you out of that. So I'm going to read the passage that goes with this so that it just gives you a little bit more making me use my alphabet to get through it. That's a challenge. So, okay, I'm going to hold this up for you to look at whilst I read. You are making incredible efforts to heal and release habits and thoughts that once held you back. Take a moment to look at yourself through the loving eyes of Mother, Father, God, and appreciate how far you've come, all the adversity you've faced, and the person you are today. Angels are wrapping their wings around you and encouraging you to see what they see. They see you as perfect just the way you are. If your confidence has dropped recently, or you've not been as positive as you'd like to have been, change that now by giving yourself credit where it is due. Maybe you've discovered that negative talk and thoughts aren't working for you. This is a time to try loving yourself instead. Try to get started, try speaking to yourself more respectfully and giving yourself some leeway and some time to change. And when this card appears, know that your self-esteem and confidence have taken some knocks over the years and you have your thoughts that are no longer serving you. But your angels want nothing more than for you to be happy and at peace. And they are drawing close now to help restore your confidence in yourself. You have the ability to live a life that you love. But to experience that fully, you have to recognise that you are worthy of it. So take some time today to realise that heaven loves you unconditionally, and then take small steps to loving yourself the same way. The outer world you experience is a mirror of the conversations you have on the inside with yourself, so align them with love. So that's what we're talking about. Bacana is that nourishing, nurturing energy that you need to bring to yourself. You are worth it. You are very worth it. And we don't want to do this anymore, do we? You don't want to be here anymore. You've got to look at these 2 cups that are still standing. Put your energy and your attention into filling those up. And when you do, you find then that this cup, it's bringing that new beginning. There is very good things on the horizon for you. That new beginning is coming. Okay, so I will leave that there for you. So that was pile 1, and now we're moving on to pile number 2. So, hello, pile number 2. Let's see. We have, if you picked pile number 2, then you picked the rune Rado. Rado is all about the rhythm of life. It's all about movement and the vehicle that you choose to travel with. So Rado represents the horse, because that would have been, tends to be a vehicle. And to to go in any direction, you need to trust that. And you also need to take responsibility for the journey. If you make a choice, you are responsible for that choice. Okay? You are responsible for it. You're responsible for the consequences of any choices that you make. That is the energy of Rado. So choose wisely. So let's have a look at your minor arcana first of all. So what do we have? Okay. So we have the 8 of Cups and the 9 of Cups, which is interesting. So we had Cups on the last reading as well. So with the Cups, you've walked away from something. It feels like you've definitely walked away from something, and maybe it's on your mind that, was that the right decision? Did I make the right choice there? Am I moving in the right direction? And with all of these stars here and with the new moon on there, it kind of suggests that it wasn't an easy decision to make, but maybe it's the right decision for you right now at this point. And it feels like maybe this decision has been coming a long time. It feels like from around perhaps August that you had to make a choice. You had to make that decision in which direction you were going to go. And it's not that you are turning your back on something, but you had to make that decision. And we work from where we are in that point. It doesn't mean that we can't change our minds. It doesn't mean that we can't do something different that changes that decision. But once we've made that decision, we've made it. Okay, so this is the 8 of Cups on here. Now with the 9 of Cups, this shows it's like, you know, complete abundance. You've achieved, you know, all of your hard work is paying off. You are getting to where you want to go. So if you needed some clarity on the direction that you've chosen, then I think this is telling you that yes, it's the right decision. You've made the right decision. You are heading into a place of reaping what you sow. It's a bit like harvest time. So say, you know, you've worked really hard on your crops all year. You've worked really hard on maintaining that, on nourishing that. And then when it comes to harvesting it, you've got bounty. You've got everything. So it's that hard work that you've put in and the decision that you made, although it was hard, you made the right decision. And Rado is showing you maybe right now, yes, you had to make that decision, and yes, you are being rewarded for that. But maybe it's a revisit. Maybe there's something, another direction that you're going to be going into now. And it's your responsibility to discern what suits you at this point. So say if we make a decision, it doesn't mean that that decision is then solid in the ground and we can't change it, we can't move it, because you can. You can make that decision to change. You can make that decision to do something different. So let's have a little look at your major arcana. We have the moon. And the moon is a very tricky one. So the moon represents, it's always that feminine energy, but it's representing here illuminating things that are hidden. So it feels to me like the decision that you've made, you feel like there was something that you didn't know, or perhaps it didn't end well, or there wasn't enough clarity on what was happening there. There's still something hidden there. There's still something under the surface around this that perhaps is unresolved, and that's why you feel like you want to go back into it, you want to revisit it. And it does seem that if you do that, you will get to this point where you can actually finally feel like, right, I can complete that now because I know how to move forward now because I've got all of the answers. So this might be a redirection or a retreat. It might be that you need to revisit, go back into something to ask those questions. And yes, it's going to be emotional. Yes, it's going to bring up things for you. So if you did walk away from that, maybe it's time to change direction now to bring you back round to it. And Rado represents as well about the journey, but it's also looking at the journey as the destination. So it's like, stop looking for the outcome of things and jumping too far ahead as to what you feel the outcome's going to be. This is about being on the journey, enjoying the journey, being present within the journey. And that's where the responsibility hits, is, you know, any of us can change direction at any point and decide on something different, but we can leave unresolved things around if we do that. So moving from one thing to the next at some point in your life is going to catch up with you. So maybe the moon is a warning there for you that perhaps right now it's time to just illuminate some of these threads. It's time to illuminate where you're at on this path, the responsibility that you have to yourself and to other people potentially, and looking at that. So let's see your oracle cards. So your chakra oracle card is isolation, which actually that goes really quite well with the Eight of Cups. You feel you're not really communicating yourself very well here. I feel like you've walked away. You've made this decision, you've made this choice, and you've decided that you need to go on a journey. But it's a journey that you've put yourself on all by yourself. You're on your own. And your throat center, it's like there's a truth here, but you can't quite get it. You can't quite reach in and grab it and think, what is that? Why do I feel like this? Maybe you're making decisions and you're thinking like, maybe you're being hard on yourself, and the decisions that you're making are actually causing you pain, making you feel more isolated, making you feel more like there's something hidden. And it feels to me like this journey, this path that you're on, is going to continue to be the same pattern over and over of walking away from things rather than sitting in it. Stop isolating yourself. Be in it. Let people in. Let them see you fully. And obviously the right people. Discern who has been around in your life that perhaps you've walked away from, or maybe that you aren't opening up to, but they're present in your life. They will support you. They will be there for you. If they're not, then they're not your people and you walk away. But there will be people around you that are definitely ready to support you and be a part of that. So it might be that you need to step back into a certain part of the journey that you thought you were done with and moving away from, okay? Because this isolation, it doesn't feel healthy to me. It doesn't feel good. A little bit of isolation, yeah, that's good. And if this was the Hermit card instead of the Moon, and it's funny because it does look very similar to the Hermit, the Moon does, because in the Hermit it's a man standing there with a lantern. Here it's Hecate with a torch. So it's got similarities to the Hermit, but right now it's not time for you to be the Hermit. You've been the Hermit for long enough. It's time to let people in. Stop pretending that you're okay. Stop trying to hide behind this. It's time for the truth. So let's see what your angel card is. Inner child healing. Now, I think we had a reading like this yesterday, which was, it came back to this working with the inner child. And the inner child, you know, it could have lots of different aspects of you. It's not like one child that is you when you were a child. You know, a child can be many different aspects. But this is definitely an opportunity for you. If you take this journey, you will find that it's going to bring contentment. It's going to bring peace and happiness, all of those things that you are deep down really desiring. But if this keeps happening, if you keep walking away from things, you're never gonna really get to this point. And what you've put out there, what you said you want, is a journey, a growth. You want to really fully walk this path and be you. but you can't be if you're repeating the same patterns over and over again, can you? So I'm going to read the passage for this one. So inner child healing. Let's have a look. Inner child healing. Okay, so I'm going to hold that up for you to look at whilst I read this. The inner child is the part of our psyche that represents our childhood. Everyone, no matter who they are, has had traumatic childhood experiences that may be impacting their life today. And you have endured so much in your life. You are a real survivor. Drawing this card indicates that no matter what has happened, you have found a way forward. You may feel that you have had to grow up quickly and abandon your innocence in order to survive. But know that when you reflect, review and release anything from your childhood that could be holding you back, the next phase of your life will be supported. This isn't about forgetting, but about taking the time to send loving energy to your inner child and to assure them that they do make it through and become the incredible person you are today. This card brings radical healing, understanding and love to your inner child. It shows that your guardian angel is wrapping their loving arms around you right now, nurturing your inner child and encouraging you to unleash your childlike senses. See the world through the eyes of a child. There is so much wonder and opportunity out there. It's time for some fun. What can you do to feel light? What can you do to express yourself? Have you stopped yourself from doing something because you feel you're too old for it now? It's time to reclaim your innocence and express yourself in a way that is filled with excitement, wonder, and adventure. It's time for your inner child to be healed. So, yeah, repeating those patterns. We need to get out of the habit of repeating these patterns. Look to the inner child. I've worked with people before with the inner child where they've actually found that things that you used to enjoy as a child can actually be things that make you happy as an adult. Why should we stop doing those things? Why can't we have fun and enjoy ourselves? Take responsibility for yourself, for where you are. Be accountable for you. And if you're hiding things from yourself, then ultimately you're always going to feel isolated from other people because you're not letting anybody in. And that could be because of this survival mode. Maybe you've had to learn to protect yourself. Maybe you've had to put yourself in a safe place. So it's difficult for you to allow anybody to really truly see you because you don't feel safe. You've just learnt to do that. So keep walking away is only going to keep this pattern repeating. So now is that time for those inner child healing. Do get in touch if you would like to do work around that, because I do sessions around inner child healing and soul regressions and soul retrieval. So let me know, pile number 2, if you need that. So that was pile number 2. I hope you enjoyed that. Do let me know. You can book your own personal readings as well. I will leave the details in the link below. So we're moving on now to pile number 3. So hi, pile number 3. If you are pile number 3, then your rune, you would have picked Uruz. So Uruz, let's have a look at you. I'm going to read your minor arcana first of all. So I picked 2 of these today. Let's have a look what we have. Okay. Oh, I didn't really talk about Uruz actually. Let's talk about Uruz first of all. So Uruz is a rune of endurance, of like grounded strength. It's the ability to work through things, to get through things with strength, determination. Uruz can be the experiences that you have in life that can feel quite heavy, quite dense, but actually bring about growth and an ability to really move things. So imagine like a bison or something in a snowstorm. Just, it's slow, it's steady, but it's making its way. It could take a long time, but the energy is very grounded. The energy is very in its place, moving the way that it's meant to move. Okay. So with your cards, let's have a look at these minor arcana. So we have the 2 of Pentacles and the King of Cups. So let's talk about, first of all, the Two of Pentacles. So you've had some heavy decisions to make. You've had to make some choices. It's been a bit of a balancing act for you. And it feels to me like you're still going through that. There's still choppy waters there. There's still things that are taking place that are causing you discomfort, perhaps making you feel a bit ungrounded, a bit unbalanced, and you're trying to regain that balance now. But this is a really difficult decision for you. It's difficult for you. It might mean making a sacrifice somewhere that it will be upsetting for you. And it's almost like you feel like you've missed the boat, like that something's happened and you haven't quite made it to where you wanted to be, for how you wanted to get there. And I feel like the presence of the King of Cups kind of represents a bit of a masculine archetype. So it's like there's been a power over you that's perhaps caused you to make a decision in haste. So where the energy of Urus is quite grounding, it can also, maybe you need this energy right now to stop you from making hasty decisions, to allow you to feel grounded and slow things down so that you can really see the bigger picture and understand things better. So it might be that this person has actually stepped in to be a guide for you, to help you to slow things down, to bring that energy slower for you. And whatever this decision is, if you've made it already, there may be an element of looking back over those decisions and just thinking about, you know, when you have a power over you that you feel is perhaps a driving force in the decisions that you make, in the choices that you make. Maybe this is about you standing in your power now, getting that strength back and really standing your ground with anybody that you feel is having a power over you and influencing your decisions right now. Maybe it's the influence of somebody else in your life that is creating the imbalance there, or making you feel like you're juggling things, and it feels very much like there's a sacrifice that needs to be made here if it hasn't already been made. But it's discerning which is the right decision to make, because that ship sailing off in the background makes me feel like there's an opportunity that's been missed here because of this influence that's been over you. If somebody else has been influencing your decisions and you've been juggling and you've missed an opportunity, something's got away from you. But it's still there in the background, so it doesn't mean that it's all is lost, that all is gone. But it might feel like you're feeling a bit stuck right now in being able to move forward, in how you step forward on there. And it always interests me on the King of Cups, because the cups and the kings anyway is like their feet. So like his feet are out, like almost like stepping forwards, almost like he's thinking about getting out of his throne. And maybe you've had that kind of feeling of sort of like someone's trying to throw you out of your throne. Someone's trying to throne. Someone's trying to push you through, push you out. But it's about standing your ground, standing in your power. Let's see what your major... Okay, we have the Hanged Man. Now this is about perspectives and the ability to see things from a different viewpoint. It can have the energy on it of sort of like, I can't be bothered anymore, I'm just going to let this happen, just going to hang in there. And that might be where you're at right now, is just hanging in there, just standing in that ground. I've got a lot of like neck ache going on here, like shoulder and neck pain, where there's something hanging really heavy over you. And I feel like the decisions, the choices perhaps have already been made, and there's that missed opportunity in the background there going on. But you know, it's like seeing the raven on there. Now with the raven, it's quite interesting. So Odin has two ravens, Hunnin and Muggin. and they represent memory and mind. And your memory, sometimes it can be disillusioned by whether the memory is your own or whether it's what somebody else has told you and you believe it to be your memory. And then there is the mind, your own mind, as to, you know, what is my own mind, what isn't my own mind. And it feels like you've had an influence over you and you're not sure actually what is your thoughts and what isn't. And this is where this imbalance is coming through, where it's making you feel like you don't really know how to make a decision here, and that's what's blocking you and making you feel stuck. So something has to change, and that may be you having this reading today to illuminate this to you and show you that actually you do have the power to choose. You still have the power to discern what is right for you. It might mean standing your ground, taking your power back. It may mean some uncomfortable conversations, but ultimately it's going to help you to grow in your strength, grow in your power. So let's see what your chakra card represents today. Okay, we have bittersweet. So yeah, that kind of goes in line with what I've been saying. The decisions you've had to make, it's difficult because I feel like this is kind of like almost like caring for a relative, maybe a father energy here, where it's a difficult decision that you've had to make, and you've done it out of a place of care and wanting to do the best, do the right thing for those that you love. But sometimes when we haven't received the love that we wanted in those areas, it can be difficult to be of service and give to those that we're finding difficulty with. You still have a choice. And the other beauty with Uruz is almost like a water off a duck's back, being able to actually not go into things in such an emotional way, but more use that muscle and bring yourself out of your head and into your body more, so that you have the ability to, because you've been hanging in there for far too long now, the blood must be rushing to your head. So you need to get into the body, bring that blood flow through your body more now. Allow yourself to do that. Allow yourself to come out and actually take action here. Take action. You're grounded, you're connected enough as it is. You've got all of the information that you need. This is the time to take your power back. Yeah, it's your time. It's what you need, and you don't owe anybody anything. Okay, so communicate that. So this is the blue board around here is connected to the throat center. So the throat center is all about communicating that truth, and that being okay for you to do that. There's a lot of birds in here which I feel are representing freedom of speech, being able to say what you really feel and think. I feel like there are other people involved around this that you're afraid to engage with, or you're afraid to really speak up and say what you need for fear of them challenging you on that. Let them challenge yourself. Allow yourself to be challenged and stand in your ground, because you are valid in how you feel. You're valid in what's going on for you, and people, if you allow them to, will try and have that power over you. But if you stand up and say, actually, this isn't working for me, this is how I need things to be, then they might actually respect you for that. So take the time to focus on your needs, what grounds you, what connects you, what makes you feel like you can actually move forward in your power. Because right now, you're allowing that to have a power over you. And Uruz is calling upon you to be stronger, to be more resilient, to challenge. So let's see what your angel card is saying to you. Divine timing. So yes, you're going through this right now and it must be difficult for you. It's a difficult time and there's more that you need to do. But know that in divine timing, things are going to change. Things will work out the way that they need to. So you won't be hanging upside down for much longer. But I do feel like you need to take some action on that to allow that divine timing. But you'll know when the timing is right. So let me read that for you. Suddenly gotten really cold in here for some reason. Okay, so this is your message then, pile number 3. Life is always unfolding in the perfect time space sequence. So angel wisdom is encouraging you to move into a state of trust, knowing that good things are always unfolding for you. You may find yourself feeling impatient and unsettled, but instead of letting your ego and imagination pull you into a downward spiral, trust that your prayers are being answered and your plans are coming to fruition in a way that is meeting your needs rather than your wants. You may feel that your prayers aren't being answered or that your hopes aren't being realised. But you must know that the universe and your angels are always working towards the highest good and the outcome that will best serve you. When this card appears, trust in the process. This card is a sign that your hopes and dreams are unfolding. You may not think so, but you need to remember that you may be working to human time, whereas God is always working on soul time, which can never be measured or rushed. You're being guided to know that your angel team is with you right now, encouraging you to call in the support of heaven in alignment your current situation with love. Imagine yourself and your situation covered in golden light and ask angels to show you the way forward, knowing they are always working for your highest good. Okay, that's a lovely message, isn't it? So yeah, feeling like your prayers aren't being answered. Well, they are being answered, and this situation, it is about to change, but all in that divine timing and all in you just accepting where you are right now and having the strength, just that endurance to keep moving forward and know that you will be guided on that path. If you do need a space to communicate any of this, you need to feel perhaps protected or safe. This is a very safe space for you here. We can do sessions through Zoom, or you can actually come to the studio physically, and we can allow that energy of Urus to ground you, protect you, put you in a place of feeling in your power. So that was you, pile number 3. So do let me know if these resonate with you. I'd love to hear from you. Please do like and subscribe to my videos to see more of them. And I will see you next time. Blessed be.